Hello everyone and welcome to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Alright, Friday was the first day of NBA playoff elimination, and two teams have been eliminated so far. The Houston Rockets with a record of 15-44, and the Minnesota Timberwolves with a record of 16-44. Now, given for how bad these teams' records are, everyone's going to start going after the head coach. Who's like, oh, this guy's bad. He's not getting the job done. He's not getting where the team needs to be. Well, one, you got to give these guys a lot of breathing room, especially Chris Finch, because he came in halfway through the year, and it's a lot tougher coming in halfway through the year, replacing a coach and learning the team as the season is going on, and learning how each player plays, how they work, and what they're best at. And he's got a lot of different players to work with, like Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, because he's a rookie too. And he's replaced a coach that was not getting the job done whatsoever, and has only won 40 games within the last 3 years before he was let go and replaced. He got 17 in 2019, 16 in 2020, and 7 this year before he was replaced. Chris Finch does have a better record than him now, but that is also through 30 games at 10-20. Now, with Stephen Silas, you got to give him breathing room, because he didn't even get to play with the players he was hoping to play with when he first got the job, and that's James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Now, but unfortunately, they got traded, and James Harden went to Brooklyn, and Russell Westbrook went to Washington. And with the players that he got in return aren't nearly as good as what these guys are. He got Christian Wood and John Wall in return. Now, don't get me wrong, Christian Wood is having an outstanding year and improved by a lot, and he could win Most Improved Player of the Year, because he's scoring 20.9 points a game, and that's a huge difference from last year, only scoring 13 points a game. And since he's been with the Rockets, he's now proving that he can be that player to be relied upon than he was the previous years, because since he entered the league 6-7 years ago, he's been bouncing around from team to team. And now, could the Houston Rockets be his team? And the other guy that the Houston Rockets got in return was John Wall. And John Wall is on one of his best years, but unfortunately, it's not doing the job that everyone was hoping for, and being in playoff talk like James Harden and Russell Westbrook, or even Clint Capella was making the Rockets get to every single year for the past 5-6 years. Now, everyone is wondering, why do we have to give Stephen Silas and Chris Finch room if it's Steve Nash's first year in the league with Brooklyn? Well, you give anyone, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, in a starting lineup all at the same time, I guarantee you can get to the playoffs with just those 3 guys, because those 3 guys are future Hall of Famers and for one day. And you give those players to any coach, and I guarantee you can have a top tier or one of the top records in the NBA, because Brooklyn right now is balling. Obviously, they're 41-20, and they have the fourth best record in the NBA, behind the Clippers, Utah, and Phoenix. And speaking of Phoenix, Chris Paul is on a record pace year. He's in the top 5 in 2 statistical categories: the all-time assist list and the all-time steals list. And the all-time steals list, he's at number 5, and number 5 in both categories in assists and steals. Chris Paul's got nearly 2,600 steals, and Chris Paul's nearly got 10,200 assists. Now, everyone is wondering, can Chris Paul possibly get to the top spot in the all-time assist list? Unfortunately, I do not think he can because he is in his 15th season and he is turning into a surprising way, turning Phoenix into a playoff team, and no one saw this coming because they have the second best record in all of the NBA at 42-18. Absolutely ridiculous. But with Chris Paul being able to get the all-time assist record, like, let's just say he only plays 5 more seasons. That's 20 seasons. But he's also got to get nearly 5,900 assists, nearly 6,000 assists to be able to pass John Stockton as the all-time assist leader. Now that's very hard to do. And unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to do it. But I do think he can get to second place because he's just got to get just under 200 more assists to get into third place. Because third place, Steve Nash has 10,335, and in fourth place, Mark Jackson has 10,334. And in second place, it's Jason Kidd with 12,091, and obviously John Stockton was nearly 16,000 assists with like 15,889. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but that is a lot to beat. That is a far stretch for Chris Paul to beat. But I do think when it's all said and done, I do think Chris Paul will be able to get into second place, maybe even place 4, 5, or even 6 more seasons, because it is rare for players to get to their 19th, 20th, or even 21st and 22nd season, and going past their 20th season is even rarer because there's only been a few that have done it. And the two that I can name off the top of my head are Vince Carter, who has the most amount of seasons with 22, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 20. Alright, and now, speaking of records, the New York Knicks are on a roll. Holy shit. Holy shit. Who would have thought that the New York Knicks would actually be good? And I'm not talking about good enough to be able to be in the A spot or even the play-in for the NBA tournament. Like, they're actually good. They're on a 9 straight win streak, and Julius Randle has been the leader of this entire team and win streak, because through the 9 games, he's had 4 30-point games and 2 40-point games. And it's at his highest, and his 2 40-point games was 40 and 44. Absolutely ridiculous. And for the New York Knicks, they have the most wins in a row since 2014. And they have the most almost the most wins since the 2013-2014 season with 34, but they got 3 more wins to go to tie it when the Knicks went 37 and 45 in 2013, which I totally think they're going to get, because Julius Randle at the home with RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin. Oh my God, the Knicks are absolutely on a roll, and they could get 40 wins because they got 10-11 games left to go, and it's absolutely stunning. And their record could go 10 wins, 12 wins, and hell, they could even tie one of their longest records that they ever had, which was back in the 90s at a 15-win streak. Could it happen? Who knows? Now, on to football. Now, as I'm sure anyone's heard, Alex Smith, the 2020 Comeback Player of the Year, or 2021 Comeback Player of the Year, has officially retired. Now, he was an all-around great player, but not an all-time great, and definitely not worth of Hall of Fame talk, because he didn't put the numbers up that are Hall of Fame worthy. He's got 35,600 passing yards. He's got just under 200 passing touchdowns with 199. He's completed 62% of his passes, and he went 4-7 in the playoffs, along with a 59% win streak throughout his career. But in Alex Smith's playoff career, he is 4-7, but I think 3 games should not count because he didn't play in them. And that was 2012 when they went to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately didn't win. It was San Francisco versus the Baltimore Ravens, where Baltimore was blowing them out, and then San Francisco came back. But that game, that series of playoff games should not count for Alex Smith, because it should more toward it counts more for Colin Kaepernick, because he's the one that got those W's. Now, do you guys think he's in the Hall of Fame? Because I don't think so. If you think so, let me know down in the comments. And another football thing is Mike Tomlin has signed a 3-year contract extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Mike Tomlin is one of the all-time greatest coaches for Pittsburgh and could possibly be the greatest coach that Pittsburgh has ever had. It's a very close call. Now, is this 3-year contract extension gonna be worth it? Because Big Ben Roethlisberger, he's decaying a little bit. Although they went 13-3 last year, that was like an up and down season where like that 11-win streak technically shouldn't have happened because of how up and down that season was, especially with COVID and games being canceled all around. I don't know about that. But the draft is coming up, and for Pittsburgh, they did just lose James Conner, so they could pick up running back in the 1st or 2nd round. Could it be Najee Harris from Alabama? Could it be Javonte Williams from North Carolina? Or could it be Travis Etienne from Clemson? Who knows? And we'll find out come draft day. Now, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any sports news. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss any sports media and news from all around the sports leagues. And I'm out.